Virgo 15, an ornamental handkerchief. Well, what's a handkerchief for? It's so that when you blow your nose, it's not messy and so on. I don't think the hunter-gatherers used handkerchiefs. So at some point we decided that to be an okay member of society, you had to stop doing vulgar things like blowing your nose without a handkerchief. And then, of course, the poor people would use rags and the rich people would use nice handkerchiefs, pretty ones, ornamental ones. And so we're looking at this phenomenon that we certainly have in our lives, where ornament is invested with value. There's nothing fundamentally important about the ornament of a thing. It's only given importance because we choose to give it importance. And we're reminded here of the jousting in the Middle Ages, when a knight would go to his lady and ask her for a token, and she perhaps would give him her handkerchief. And that would make him a stronger warrior. He would fight more passionately for his lady, because her handkerchief, and most particularly the gift of it, represented her affection, her honouring of him. So it's not really the intrinsic value of something, what it holds basically because of its materiality. It's what we add to that, what we invest in a thing, especially when it's a token. This is no strange thing. A child clutching a teddy bear as they go to sleep at night has invested into that teddy bear the sense of the security and love of her mother, probably. Whatever we choose as our tokens, when we invest something important into them, they give it back to us later. And so it's worth building up the energy of a thing in order to call upon the quality you associate with that thing later. It is very central. It is the essence of magic that we imbue symbols with meaning. If we think about all the glyphs of astrology and the symbols of religion, like the crucifix and the star and moon and various images in the world today, they're hugely important only because we have made them so by our practices of investment. So we're studying now the fact that this very power that is added to a thing can be passed from year to year, from generation to generation, to go down in history. And so, for example, an ornamental handkerchief that was only made last year, it's nice, it's ornamental. But if it was made 100 years ago, it's like really special. And if it's made 1,000 years ago, it's like unimaginably important. So we have tokens from the dim, distant past, some fictional, some real, like the Ark of the Covenant in Christianity and various emblems of different religions were passed down through the ages, thought to have incredibly important value and power because of the fact that they're old and were once owned by an important person. Now, in the case of a crucifix, we put two pieces of metal together or wood and maybe hanging around our neck, and that's all it is, a couple of pieces of metal whacked together. And yet, when we hold it, and it's sacred to us, it generates within us all of the meaning that has come down through the ages. And we can employ that. We can use that meaning from our ancestors to tune into what they tuned into, and just to become a part of the stream rather than just alone. We're part of something vast. I'm reminded of the practice that I do daily, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This word perhaps was brought to the world's attention 1,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago. So what? What's in a word? It was nothing at the time. But 1,000 years of practice, or more than that, by millions upon millions of people every day. That word is said multiple times by millions of people every day, and it has been for 1,000 years. Whoa! That changes what it is. And I feel that in some way when I say the word, and I choose to say the word because I feel that. To describe the feeling, it just aligns me with something bigger than me, something I aspire to. And I think that's the case with the child and the teddy bear. It reminds the child of something that is greater than she is. And she aspires to have that quality of softness and stability and security and comfort. She wants that. She wants to be that. It's not that she just wants to have that in her life. She wants to become like that. And that's certainly what the idea is of the knight with his lady's token, a handkerchief. He wants to be graceful. He practices gracefulness. The lady, of course, is the model of grace. You don't think of these wives of barons and kings as being rough and ready. They're wearing the best clothes that there are to wear. They speak in a certain way to convey an atmosphere of grace. And they walk with grace. They're trained in this. Aristocracy knows the power of grace. It's a glamour. And a glamour is a power. A glamour casts a spell. Whatever the glamour is, and it could be physical appearance, it could be how you dress, it could be how you speak. It could be your image of self projected into the world with 100% certainty. I am successful, says one man. I am strong, says another. I am kind, says a woman. I am sexy, says another. And this is a spell that is placed into the world in order to create a result. And gracefulness is that. Grace is, in a sense, the magic of aristocracy. And the knight would be aspiring towards that. The knight was above the commoner, but not yet a lord. There was a wannabe, an aspirational quality to the knight's behavior. And so when we consider in our own lives what we use for our ornamental handkerchiefs, it's worth contemplating two things. First of all, does it work? When we pick up our crucifix, are we comforted by the presence of God? When we use our best suit and tie and shirt and cufflinks and nice watch and so on to go to a sales meeting, do we impress the client? Does it work? When we buy that very, very smart car and polish it every Sunday, does that create an image that we're trying to convey to the world? And if it doesn't, well then it's not working. But if it does, then you have a real sense of what it is that you're trying to present to the world. And it's probably not the case. This presentation is an aspiration. That's what you would like to become like. It's not what you are. These tokens are encouraging us to develop towards them. They're not representations of how far we've come in life. They're representations of where we're going in life.